Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of The Creative Niche. Today, we have Troy Ross here with us. He is not only a local friend, but also a local business person. He does a number of different things, but so we're just going to jump right in. So how are we doing today, Troy?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Having a good day.
Good day?
Yeah. Glad to be here. Appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that you didn't let me be the first one on your podcast, but I understand family comes first. So.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even, we did kind of bring the family in first, and we've even brought in other guests, but we got around to you.
You did. Eventually.
We did get around to you. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so quick introduction to everybody. Troy Ross, right here, my guest. We've been friends probably for, I'm crazy, how long?
I was thinking 12 to 15 years.
Yeah,
probably.
I think we're pushing that 15
been a long
now.
time.
Yeah. So we met at church. That was kind of the initial group that we connected in. Was part of a small group together, and just kind of grew from there.
It did.
So he's a father of one, or a father of five.
Yep.
Husband of one.
Yep. Yeah. Husband of one.
Right. Yeah. He's
Plan
also
to keep it that way.
Yep. He's also Williamson's insurance, crop insurance,
Yep.
right? You've been
crop
working.
insurance. Yep.
How long have you been doing that?
Been doing that since 2004. I would say probably late of 04 started in that, and just just kind of got into that part of it a little bit on the technology side. And then it just progressed into on the sales side, and just
so you didn't start
with clients and customers. Yeah,
you didn't start out in sales.
For probably about the first year, I did not. No, mainly just kind of getting my feet wet. Getting an understanding of how the process and everything would work with that crop insurance, and then from there just going to into the sales side. So, but it was probably, I don't know, maybe mid or early 2005, sometime in there that. Yeah, I started with a small book of business and just going and seeing clients, and then just growing it from there. So it's been fun.
Yeah,
built a lot of relationships, and that's the cool part about it is you get to know these people, you get to know their families, and I guess I've done it long enough now that I start to see the second generation come on board, or even the third, depending on kind of when I started going out to see some of the different farmers. So yeah, it's neat. I mean, a lot of camaraderie.
What do you find unique about the crop insurance business? You know what I mean? I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. I mean, it's probably something that, a lot of people would be like, well, is that really that interesting of a business or not? But, ultimately like you said, you get to create a lot of relationships with a lot of people. A lot of family farms, I would assume, but do you do big commercial farms as well, or is it more or less just a lot of family farmers?
I'd say the majority are family farms, yeah. So you can only make insurance so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you necessarily dream about, but it is something that provides a really good safety net for their operation. And so there's a lot of value in that, and so I get to be a part of just helping provide the correct coverage that allows them to just give them some peace of mind, even if they don't have a claim or anything. Just sometimes when things don't look good, the peace of mind that once they're through that, it just there's just a calm, there's comfort in knowing that if the worst happens, I'm going to get through this, and so that's the nice part. So
yeah,
but otherwise, I would say having a love and an enjoyment of ag and farming. I've always wanted to farm. I guess my grandfather farmed, and it's just one of those things. I've just, for whatever reason, it's just been in my blood. I've enjoyed it. I like it, and
you own a family farm,
and we do own a family farm.
Yeah.
So,
and so you guys manage that just within your family, or do you have any other? You don't have any cousins or anybody that help you, do you?
I don't. No, just family farm, just us.
Yep.
Pretty much. So, just worked out good. I guess the Lord's provided an opportunity for us to buy a farm almost 20 years ago, and just a unique situation where we got, I don't know, about 34 acres, and it So at that time, we were going to have, my wife was pregnant with quadruplets. So life changed really quick, knowing that four children may be entering the world to us. And so at that time, I went to an auction looking for a little bigger house, a little bit more room out in the country. And I would just say, divine intervention. A guy that I know was at that same auction, and he made a comment about where this farm was and where the house was. Mm-hmm. And turned out that it was about the same money. It was actually a little cheaper to buy 34 acres and a home with an old barn than it was to buy 2 acres with a tri-level. So anyway, I just see where God intervened and allowed for us to have that knowledge, and then we pursued that, and then we've just continued to slowly manage money well, I think, and just worked our way to where we are today. So
now you've bought more farms since then. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So probably 10 years ago, we had bought another one, which that's a unique story in and of itself too. Was at a very large farm auction, probably pushing 1,000 acres. Mm-hmm. And it was in a local high school. And in the midst of that auction, I got there kind of early because I wanted to stake out where I wanted to sit. You know how it is at an auction. You just want to, you want to kind of eye everybody a little bit and be at the back. But I ended up having a lot of people I knew came and sit with me. And as the place filled up, I just wasn't comfortable where I was at. And Tiffany, she was at home. She didn't come, but she was praying for the auction, just things to go well. And there was a couple different pieces we were kind of interested in purchasing. And we just continued in that auction. And at some point in that auction, I got up because I wasn't comfortable where I was at, and I went to the back. And there was one seat available. And that one seat had a farmer sitting next to it, and he asked me to sit down next to him. And he ended up being a key or integral part of the knowledge I gained throughout the rest of that auction. And the piece that we were bidding on, I was bidding on against a landowner, but also he had his own trucking company. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I was not going to win the bid against this guy with him bidding. Yeah, I knew he was going to easily go over me. And so in the process of the bidding, I went ahead and I asked the realtor or one of the auctioneers just to confirm who I was bidding against. And anyway, I confirmed that. But the neat part was the man that asked me to sit next to him, he knew the man I was bidding against. And they had actually had a conversation earlier in the week or, last week or two. Mm-hmm. And he knew that this guy wanted to do a 1031 exchange on another farm to buy one of the farms he was bidding against me on. Mm-hmm. And when I learned that information, I suddenly realized instead of being a competitor, I'm going to go be this guy's ally. And I went up to him, didn't know him, in the middle of the auction. I went up to the center part of the auction when they kind of took a small, short break, and I introduced myself. And I told him, I said, I will stop bidding against you on this farm. If you're wanting to do a 1031, I'll basically buy the farm that you are wanting to swap. Mm-hmm. And he said, absolutely. So we shook hands, and I sat with him the rest of the auction. Mm-hmm. And I've never been able to duplicate that since then. So within, a couple hundred people, how could I go find that one individual that knew all of that information? And anyway, that's why I say it. The Lord worked that all out because I couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's an interesting. I kind of knew, but I didn't know it to that depth. Yeah. So that's a pretty intriguing story on how you got started in farming.
So it's hard to say no when God provides an opportunity that seems pretty clear.
Right.
So it worked out well, and we did that deal. And then I think about 2 years later, the man that I sat next to, he had actually bought one of the small pieces next to, not too far from the one we had purchased. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to swap it for another farm later. Mm-hmm. And he ended up calling me about 2 to 3 years after he'd purchased it and wanted to sell it. So anyway, just as it was, you don't get those type of situations very often, mm-hmm. If ever. or somebody calls and wants to sell you a farm. So just felt like it was an opportunity. I wasn't prepared necessarily to go buy another farm just yet.
Yep.
But talked with my wife, and we just worked things out. And anyway, so here we are.
So crop insurance, farmer, and now you also
Cattle.
you have some cattle.
We have some cattle. We've done some real estate. And the cattle side of things, probably for the last 10 years, we have been raising freezer beef for people.
Yeah.
And it started out with actually a client of mine that called up and said, "Hey, do you want to go get some Holsteins?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm not ready for them. I didn't have anything set up gate-wise, like barn wasn't ready." And I just said, "I'm just not ready for that yet. When I become more prepared, we'll do it." Well, after I hung up and I was still working, I thought, I'm never going to be prepared unless I just do it.
Yeah.
So
So you
I
called him back?
up, and I said, "Let's just do it." And then it forced me to get things prepared and set up, and we just kind of went that way, and it just slowly grew, mainly because I wanted to get the kids involved, wanted them to learn, I wanted them to have a good work ethic, understand how things work.
How old was the kids when you guys decided, hey, we want to get the kids? Because the kids are homeschooled,
Kids are
so
homeschooled.
they get the opportunity to learn there at home, but also to help out on the farm. They learn practical stuff as well as educational things. So tell me a little bit about how you got the kids involved, how that all worked out. Maybe expound a little bit upon your homeschooling adventure.
Yeah.
So
it's been a good adventure, and it's been. We kind of thought at some point we might send them to public school, but they've enjoyed the way. I guess just the way the structure of it is. There's flexibility, so they work hard to get their schooling done, but they also, if they need to do something in the meantime, they can kind of put the school off, go get that accomplished, go to a job, and then come back and then catch up on the work. So, that's a little bit further down the road, like now.
yeah, but it's more like an entrepreneur.
But it's an entrepreneur,
Yeah, it's an entrepreneur mindset, and they got to learn that from you as you grew into different business opportunities. So you started in. Did you start in crop insurance or did you start with farming? I guess which one came first?
The crop insurance.
So using crop insurance that gave you the capital to be able to start on the farming.
The crop. So I had a mowing and landscaping business prior to the crop insurance. So I had done that and worked that through college and then into the crop insurance side of things. So I did that for a little while, actually, when I got into crop insurance. And it afforded me the time and the flexibility to do that. So went ahead and continued with both. And I had a relationship again with those clients and that I worked for, and I really enjoyed it. But then just slowly, as that kind of faded, just kind of focused on the crop insurance a little bit more in the beginning, and then worked into just other areas of interest. So
Yeah. So homeschooling, I guess I interrupted you,
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry.
as far as homeschooling goes, so the kids are flexible as far as being able to work or study.
Yeah.
It's also, there's sometimes that, you want to take your kid on a vacation like in the middle of the winter, but you're like, I'd have to pull them out of school, and then they get behind.
Oh, yeah.
You guys really don't have to worry about that. When the deals are on, you
The
guys
deals
can,
are on, you strike. You just,
you can go when the off season hits.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the adage about when the iron is hot, right? Or
You're right.
it's when you want to strike. But no, we've done that. We don't typically take a lot of vacations. We probably should take more. But the times that we have made that commitment to get away, I know we went down to Florida to Anna Marie Island one year, and we went right at the end of Thanksgiving. When everybody was headed back, we were headed down.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much, there was not much going on. The island was quiet. And so we just had our own beach house just to have fun, relax. And so it's good. That works out nice. I enjoy the fact that there's flexibility. We saw that more when they were younger. The older they've gotten, we don't have as much flexibility because they're committed to more things. They have jobs. And just with the livestock, it just, there's those responsibilities, and it's a little tougher to leave all of that for an extended period of time, and
Yep.
but,
So our kids are all different,
Yep.
right? The girls. I mean, what about the girls? I mean, which one loves to do, the livestock more? Or which one? I mean, have you seen? Well, I know you've seen because we all see it in our kids. But which one likes what? I mean,
which one likes what? I would say. I would say that Addison, she really enjoys the cattle side of things. She's usually the one that's prompting me to go do chores.
Come on, Dad.
Yep, come on, Dad. Are you ready? Or when are you going to be ready to go do steer chores? And I'm thinking to myself, well, I still have stuff in the office to do. So I generally push her off maybe a half hour, but then I'll say, yeah, I'm ready for a break. Because I know she's typically had a busy day. She's, focused on college, and she's ready just to kind of clear her mind and go have some fun with that. So so I try to make time to go with her for that. And so she enjoys that part of it. Nicole really enjoys the horses, the equine. Grace and her actually both enjoy having horses. Nicole works for a place that does boarding and also gives lessons. And
For the horses.
For the horses. And she's been doing that for a little. In fact, I think she actually gave some lessons to Elisha, didn't she?
She did, I think. Yeah.
I think it's been a few years back now.
Yeah.
But she's continued in that, and she actually has somebody now that comes and does that. She actually has been given that responsibility to train more and give lessons more at the facility she's at. So the person that owns that facility now is going to have a baby, and she has a list of people to give lessons to that she can't do that. So Nicole's actually picking all that up to help her out. So that's kind of her thing. She enjoys. Grace enjoys the horses, but probably enjoys the finance side of things and accounting more.
Yeah.
So she's in doing that. Joel, he really enjoys technology. He's probably, all of the kids have learned the entrepreneurial side of things, just as far as how to invest, not necessarily to be a great stockbroker, so to speak,
Right.
but just how to understand the fact that if I invest $100 here, I might just blow $100 and it'll be worth $50 tomorrow. Or I can invest $100 here and it's going to return me $200 in the next year. And so I've tried to help them gain and grasp that concept. So Joel probably is the one that thinks or talks about that the most. But I know that they all get that. And Caleb, he enjoys probably the building side of things. At least he's always seemed to enjoy building as far as that goes. So
Yeah.
So with 5 kids, it pulls a lot of directions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got 2 kids, and I feel like it pulls a lot of directions. So
You need some more.
I think.
Have you talked to Jess?
Yeah, I think 2 might be it. They keep us moving.
Well, it's like I tell my kids, don't take no for an answer. So
Yeah.
you
Just keep asking.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's
That's good.
but yeah, so and the neat thing is too to see them grow in their faith as well.
Yep.
And so there's always challenges, and I think sometimes the challenges too just come from technology itself.
Good and bad.
Good and bad, and it's easy, I think, to be passive. And if you are passive, then I think sometimes the devil utilizes the phone in a way to isolate families and to maybe even, I don't know, maybe deceive or just to have things look good enough, but yet steer people off the correct path.
So do you got strict phone guidelines at home? Do they all have their phones? Do you only have a couple phones? I mean,
They all have a phone. I've not had super strict guidelines, but we've tried to monitor it to some degree.
yep.
But I would say it's easy to be passive or to just take for granted that, things are going to be okay.
Well, the problem with these phones, and I mean, to be honest, is, let's say they watch a YouTube video or they watch a short or they watch this, and then they put in these crazy ads, and sometimes these ads that come up are just absolutely junk.
Crap.
Yeah, I guess that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, they're just garbage ads.
Yep.
So they could be doing something innocent by watching just some stupid video of somebody slipping and falling, but they lace it with stuff, right? That is a hard deal. You know, at least with our kids, it seems like everything's online, even for the school. Like if you want to get into an event, whammo, you got to scan to get into the event as a student. You know, if you sometimes your classes have different assignments online, and what's on that phone, and so it creates this draw to it that, you know, it's hard to not have a phone in today's day and age.
It is,
but. Yeah, I mean, like yours. I mean, how many times do you use your phone for business? We use it all the time.
Use it all the time.
And I guess that's good, but it's also, you know, put it in a drawer on Sunday and forget about it.
Yeah,
kind of deal.
Yeah, I made some rules up about that. No phones on Sunday, and some other rules. And it seemed to probably last about a week or two.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is you got to lead by example.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident that I probably led poorly.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, hey, if Dad's doing it, I ought to be able to do it. So definitely a challenge. But I think even as adults, it's easy to be addicted. It's easy to look for that next, whatever it is. There's always something consuming our minds, you know. So or there's something we're thinking about, something we're shopping for. There's something that helps, you know, maybe in business. Could be the next, you know, a little bigger iPad. You know, it could be a different trailer, whatever it is. And so next thing you know, you're shopping, you're looking for those items, and it's easy to have a lot of time consumed on a phone. It's just not always productive.
So we talk a lot about things that we should do, things that we should buy. You know, you and me, we talk about business stuff all the time. You know, we're like, okay, well, does that make sense for me to buy, or should I hire it out?
Right.
And you and me, we have a hard time with this.
Very hard time.
You know, because we know how to do enough things that it's really hard for us to pay somebody to do it. But we have to find that line of, okay, when is it not worth me doing that? Or, you know, we're big equipment people. You like to buy farm equipment. We have to buy equipment to be able to produce what we produce here. You know, it's, you know, on the quick tour that we did before coming up here, you know.
Oh, that was amazing. Those columbariums are impressive. I mean, they're very impressive. I mean, and the pictures and everything, seeing it in real life really does it justice, because just to see a photo, and I saw a photo on your dad's desk. I mean, if I was looking at that for the first time, it's like, that looks cool, but till you see it in person, to me, that's when the wow factor hits you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it is, because we're bringing color to places color's never been, right? Yeah, you know, into the cemetery industry. But
of all places that need a little life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people are dying to get in there. No, that's a running joke around here. Yeah. But no, I mean, the equipment that we have to be able to produce that is so, you know, in a way it's hard to purchase, but in the long run, it's what makes things tick, right? Sure. So, you know, in our case, we have to hire. You know, could we run all those machines? I mean, if we tried to run all those machines, our growth would be stagnated, and we wouldn't be able to service the market the way that it should be serviced. So you have to not only hire people, but you have to buy machines. But the problem is we take that concept home and we're like, well, I think I heard you talking about buying a lift, because you was like, I don't know if I want to pay. I don't know if I want to pay somebody. I could buy that lift and do the work, and then I could sell the lift. And you know, how do you manage that?
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough, because it's like you said, when you know how to do things and you're competent and you're mechanical, it's really easy to go, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I can look at a lot of things and say, well, I can do that. I can do that. But then you have to say, okay, well, I don't have the time to do that. And so that's where it becomes, a challenge. So, I guess probably prioritizing time is a big challenge, especially with being involved with everything I'm involved with. I've considered, like just not doing the cattle because it takes a lot of time. I mean, and there's some margin there, but it's not huge margin. It's not like I'm going to go and sit on the beach for the rest of my life because I was in cattle.
Right.
You know,
You're not.
I'm not. So it's not like that. But but the value in it and the time commitment there is just seeing and knowing that I have a daughter that's interested, and I don't know, how the Lord will use that, if that's something she'll pursue as a career going down the road or not. I don't know, but I just like the idea of keeping those things open for them. And it's also given us an opportunity that if we've seen a need, it's not to toot our own horn or anything, but sometimes it's like, hey, if we can provide a quarter to somebody or give a pastor a quarter or something like that, and just or split things up, there's just some nice things by having it to be able to allow us to do that. But as far as the time management side, I got away from that. But
no, that's that's exactly what we're talking about, though. I mean, is our time is our most valuable commodity. We can't trade any amount of money to get it back.
That's
right?
True.
I mean, you can't. I mean, the only thing that you can do is, manage your time as good as you can. I mean, I think a lot of people look at that and they're like, well, I never get that time back, so I'm not going to work real hard. And I think that's the wrong take. Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes a lot of work to be able to get yourself to a position where you can comfortably say, okay, I can take that time off. Next generation, I always hear people say, well, the younger generation, they don't know how to work. Well, if they don't know how to work, it's our fault.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can keep passing the buck down, but really, we was the ones that was tasked with training these people. And I think people do it in a really good, they think they're doing it for the right reason. Like, I don't want my kid to have to work as hard as I did. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the take on it. But in return is that child, sometimes they never learn to work. And I think that's something we have to guard against. And so my kids know, hey, if you want to do anything, chances are is there's a lane to get there. It might be easier for some and harder for others. I mean, there's always an avenue to be able to get to where you want to go. But it takes work, and it takes hard work, and you have to invest that time when you're young. And when you're young, you trade your time. Mm-hmm. When you're old, you trade your money, for health. Like, you sacrifice your health when you're young, and then you sacrifice your money for your health when you're old, right? Yeah. Like we're constantly looking at stuff that, what can I do to improve my well-being? Yeah. Do I need one of those massage chairs?
You might. Looks like you've been in one before. You know how that works.
Well, you've seen them at the mall.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you see, and they're not young people that sit in them. They're all the older guys. I got some money, and they'll drop the coins in there.
We're becoming the old people.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get those, or But
you said something about making it easier for your kids, and I think it is easy to want to make it easy for your kids, or that's sometimes a desire because you want to do good things for your children. Mm-hmm. But yet in that process, the challenges are what kind of refined you to get you to where you are, or where to what got you where you are. So sometimes I wonder, should I make it harder for my kids?
Yeah.
Should I take more away? Should I make them pay for their phone? Like, should I make them pay for, there's just multiple things that I question and wonder, how much should I put on them? And, but you're right. But the hard work and what you went through developed you into who you are. So it's just a balance.
Yeah, 18 and out, right?
18 and out. I remind my kids a lot.
Yeah,
you're not living here forever.
Yeah,
you have to figure out a way to provide for yourself, because I'll help you for a little bit.
Yeah,
the goal is for you to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to miss them.
Yeah.
My wife tells me, you say that, but you're going to miss them. And she's right. I am. But I want them to know they have to, and they know that they have to fend for themselves and be responsible, which they are.
It's going to be good for them.
Yeah.
And really, I think let's face it, if we've done our job right as parents, right? If we've done our job right, then they will move out. They will grow. They will be successful. And even though it's hard to let them go, when you see them do those things, it's a rewarding aspect.
Right. And to some degree, they don't want to stay with you because they want to grow, right? They want to have their own families. They want to move forward in life. And, to some degree, that's a great thing. So
I think in some cases, my kids are ready to move out now. Mm-hmm. But I said, you're not ready to move out now.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you are, but it's going to be tougher than you think out there.
Yeah.
So...
And again, I take for granted the things that I know, and sometimes I just assume that my kids know that. Mm-hmm. and I learn sometimes they don't. There's things I understand about the world that they don't, and so I think being intentional with that. But I heard this statement today about wisdom and discernment, and the guy said, with wisdom and discernment, it is not that we're teaching our kids right from wrong, because that's pretty obvious to discern what's right and wrong. Even a 5-year-old can say, shouldn't do that, it's not time for the cookie, whatever it is,
Yep.
A 5-year-old can discern pretty easy right and wrong, but it is discerning between what is right and what is almost right. And I thought, that's a lot of truth in that, because there's a lot of things that look really good, but there's an ounce or there's something in there that is just not right.
Just twisted a little.
Just twisted. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
and
if it's twisted, you want them to be able to discern between those two things, because that's where it's hard. Anyway.
Yeah, in our faith, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we figured out that people think that Satan's going to come like a pitchfork in hand and big horns on his head, but no, he's going to be in the 80%, the 80% that's right, but he's tainting it with 20%.
That's right.
And I think that's where we get so confused, in our lives, is we're like, well, I thought I was doing good, because I was following this, but if it's tainted, it's bad. Just look a little bit of fentanyl, what that does to people.
Yes.
And sometimes people think that, well, I'm just going to try this recreational drug, but it's laced with fentanyl, and then all of a sudden you're dead. It's crazy. I mean, and that's the same thing with life. I mean, we have to discern as adults and train our kids to discern as adults.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we
absolutely.
can't just do it for them. I mean, we have to discern in such a way that they learn that trait.
Yeah.
Not just that they see we do it, that they learn the trait.
Yep.
Right?
I agree. I agree.
No, that's some crazy stuff there, training your kids up, but
It is.
it's rewarding, and it's hard to spend the time that we're called to spend with our kids because we're busy. You don't ever have that problem, do you?
Yeah, probably more than I would like. Some days I wonder why I do everything I do, but I enjoy pretty much all of it. So
yeah.
And there's things I don't do that I think I would enjoy doing as well. Just not enough time.
Well, that's just it.
I thought about doing a podcast. I mean,
and then here's this guy.
and then I'm just like, hey, somebody invited me to be on a podcast, and
It's a sign.
it could be.
It could be a
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I get to be on your show?
I'd let you be on my show. Sure.
What's it going to be called?
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't thought that far ahead.
That's not a good title.
No. But it would probably fit a lot of people.
Well, I'll think about it for you. Troy's tables.
Could very well be.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah. So, what kind of things would you expect? As far as being a good leader. You've been a good leader in your family. You've been a good leader, with leading. Let's face it. Here at work, we're a leader at home. We're a leader at work. We're a leader in church. We're a leader in wherever you go, right? Because that's that's who we are. We enjoy helping people. Hit their highest potential. And I think that's what a true leader really wants to do, is they want to see that growth in a person. And whatever sphere of influence that we've been given, by the Lord, we should do our best at it. So I have a lot of thoughts about that, but what do you think a good leader, would be like?
What's a good leader?
Yeah.
What's it take to be a good leader?
Yep. Because I think you've exercised that in every aspect that I've, you've done that. You've done well in business. You've done that well as a father, as a husband. Everywhere in between. What kind of advice could you give to people out there about what it takes, and whether they're just being a good worker? I'm not even. Sometimes we think, well, what advice can you give to the next entrepreneur? But a lot of people, they don't want to be an entrepreneur. They just want to be a good husband or a good father or a good faith leader or whatever. What advice would you give them out of your personal experience? What's it take?
I mean, if you're a good leader, if you're a leader of anybody, that means you have people who are following, right? Then your footsteps, they're trying to emulate something you're doing. So I guess to me, I'm just thinking you're influencing somebody in a direction that's going to be hopefully positive for them, right? So, so I would think probably first and foremost, your life has to be emulating those same principles, so that a lot of times say it is in business, and say you're out in the shop and you see a task that needs done, and you just grab the broom and you sweep it up, whatever it is. There's dust on the floor. You cut whatever it is, metal shavings, and you're the guy that's not barking out the orders to everybody, but you're the guy that is willing to grab and I guess be humble and do those things. I think that and respecting the person probably goes a long way to being a leader, I suppose.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, I mean, you're leading by action, not by title.
Action, right, by title, yeah. And so it's not always easy to do, and sometimes it's easy just to say, maybe go do this or whatever, if you're thinking from that standpoint. But if you're also thinking from a spiritual standpoint, as a husband and a father, it's hard to do because you're busy. But leading by example, when they see you in prayer, when your kids and your family see you taking the time to commit to church, and serving in the church and doing things like that, serving others, going on doing projects that come up within the church. If I say this would be great if you went, and then I don't ever go, that just shows them that there's really not a whole lot of importance in that. And I think that applies to business and everything else, entrepreneurship or whatever it might be. So that's probably my answer.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Yeah.
And there's a lot of things I've asked my kids to do that I don't want to do.
Yeah, right.
But I've done them.
But you've done them.
And I've had to do them, and sometimes I do them with them. And, so anyway,
But it's humility. I think, like humble. You said, it's being willing to do it even when nobody else wants to do it. They see that you do it, and because they see you do it, they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
And even when my kids see me do stuff, sometimes they still don't want to do it.
No, but as they age, as they get older, they're going to remember that.
Yeah.
And they'll remember that.
No, they will.
I'm sure of that. And then they'll know at some point, I got to step it up like Dad did. If they see you do that. So
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, otherwise just humility. I think you said it. I mean, when you have pride in what you do, not the good pride, where you think more highly of yourself than you ought to.
Yep.
Then that, from my experience, doesn't tend to end well.
No, nobody likes to. People like confident people. They like leaders. They like people that can make decisions and move forward and not have to get everybody's approval to be you think this works? They also ultimately want somebody that they are confident in following because he leads well, right?
Right.
Well, but arrogance is totally different. Arrogance is something that is not real fun to follow.
Right. But that leadership, not only do they lead well, but they lead well in a way that's going to be beneficial for. Not just for the leader. It's not one-sided.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
A good leader is going to
be... A good leader is going to look out for the rest of the people that he's leading.
Right.
And so, and sometimes it's tough to make a hard decision that has immediate negative results or, challenges. But once you get beyond those, it's going to be rewarding or better for all involved.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Sometimes you make your kids, I'll use this stupid phones for an example because I hate these phones. But I feel like we got to have them. But, just like that, you take a phone away and you cut that off and there's that withdrawal. There's that challenge of, I got to do without. Mm-hmm. So you have to overcome that. You have to learn to fill that time with something else that's productive. So it's for the good of everybody involved. If you as the husband of your home and the father of your home, you're making that decision, and it's tough, but you're going to see fruit from, I guess, the pruning, if you want to look at it that way.
I'm going to touch on that because just this, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, but we talk about, and since you brought it up, it was about the phone. And, Elisha came to me and he said, or actually gave it to Jess, but he pretty much was like, you know what? I don't want this phone right now. Mm-hmm. And he gave it up. And I he's doing that because he realizes that I don't want to be attached to that thing all the time. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a huge nod of maturity on his part. But it felt good as a dad and a mom to say he's willing to give that up because he realizes that it's not overly beneficial to him. And I thought that was a pretty awesome, proud moment as a dad.
Yeah.
And we have proud moments for all of our kids. I only got two, all two of them. But Caleb and the other sense, he is he's incredibly musically inclined.
Yeah,
which is neat to watch. Real proud of all the things he's able to do, and he likes to practice a lot, mm-hmm. and we get to hear it a lot. And he always wants to teach us,
which is why you need a barn.
Yeah, I do need a barn. and the funny thing is he'll be like, Dad, I'm going to show you this. And he shows it to you. And it's great. It's fantastic. Sure. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then he shows you 20 more times the same thing. And I'm like, Caleb, I got it. Actually, I don't get it, but I mean, but
you see his skill and talent.
It's the discipline that he's put into it, right? Yeah. And so that's rewarding too. Mm-hmm. And, just like what you was talking about with Joel and how he's learning all these different things and, he's learning how to invest and make good decisions. And, it's neat to see with all your kids.
Yeah.
And girls are doing stuff with the livestock and the horses and all these different aspects of life, if you don't mind, you guys had a really tough situation that happened here not too long ago.
Yeah.
Years ago with an accident, you don't have to go into all the details, but why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how your family overcame that? Because you guys, I just want.
I don't know if we've overcome it.
You might not have overcome everything, but what I'm going to say is I've not seen a family respond in such a way to something that was so tough as good as the Ross family has. You guys have been awesome, and I know God moved in the whole situation. But it's hard.
Yeah, it is. So a couple years ago, Joel and I were riding ATVs, and he probably barely weighed 110 pounds. So he hit a rough a rough spot that just kind of bounced him off of his ATV, and he was right next to the river when it happened. So he fell in the river, which wasn't horrible, but then the ATV fell on him and broke his neck. So that caused him to be paralyzed, and from the shoulders, armpits, I guess, down. So he lost movement and feeling and all of that initially. So that was in September of 23.
Okay.
So since then, he's had a lot of therapy. He spent 3 months we spent 3 months in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Which I'm very thankful to be in the country. The city was nice to visit.
Yeah.
Not for those reasons, but it was still, it was nice. And it was a pause in life. Not for the reason I would choose.
Sure.
But we've come home, and he has regained quite a bit of movement and strength, and he is with a stabilized walker. He's able to walk.
Mm-hmm. He popped into our house.
Not
too long ago. He's making a lot of progress. We was.
I got to go back to that for just a minute, because Joel and his friend Owen were They left our house. They're like, Dad, we're going to go for a drive. I said, that's fine. Like have your independence, go have some fun. And I think at one point in the night, you text me about something about another dad or something.
No, I said I gained a couple sons.
You gained a couple sons. Yeah. You gained a couple sons. And I just thought it made no sense to me, but I was like, okay. And I think, I don't know what I even sent you back.
I think you just gave me a thumbs up.
I just got a thumbs up. Like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know why this is even relevant, but I figured I'd figure it out someday. Yeah. So I don't know if it was a week later or something, but at some point I found out Joel's like, well, we drove. I said, well, what'd you do with Owen? And he's like, oh, well, we went here and here and here. And they put like almost 80 miles on the van driving around that night. And then I found out they stopped at your place to see Caleb.
Yeah.
And so then it all come together that's now I know why you gained the two sons.
Yeah.
But until then.
And this was at like 10:30 at night or something.
It was like late at night.
So,
yeah.
and Caleb's like, hey, Dad, Joel wants to stop over. Can he stop over? I'm like, yeah. I mean, Joel can stop over whenever he wants.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they came in. They did some, I don't know if they played guitar at all or not.
Yeah.
But.
He hasn't, if he can help it and he feels good, he hasn't try not to let him, let things slow him down. So
man, he's doing great. Hey, man, what a positive attitude too. When he came in, I mean, typical Joel, cracking jokes, pulling wheelies. I mean, he was popping back and rest. You know how he probably does it a lot at home. He just ramps it up and kind of leans back and
he does.
No fear, still going at it.
He is.
But it seems like every time I see him, he's made progress.
He has. He's made a lot of progress. And I would say probably, the spring or tail end of winter of this year, at therapy, if they tried to set him up, they try to get him up on all fours. They try to get his body to fire those muscles and those those memories through the spinal cord and those signals. And so I can't tell you exactly when, but towards the beginning of this year, they would have stood him up or got him on all fours basically on a mat. And if they let go of him, he'd fall over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since then to today, he can get on a mat and he can get up on all fours, like on his knees and his hands.
Yeah.
And he can balance and he can rock forward and back. And so, he's continuing to gain, and he's started to get more just recently, a little bit more. I guess we haven't put a lot of this stuff online, but he's been getting more feeling and I want to say temperature sensation. Like he can tell they were trying to, like his legs get tight, and on kind of like the inside of his thighs or whatever, and they want to pull his legs across.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it a little bit challenging for him to walk because he's got to kind of fight to keep them apart. Mm-hmm. But when they're relaxed and things are moving well, like his walking has come a long way and he's doing really well. But they were trying to warm that area up a little bit with a heating pad just to say, let's try to get these muscles to relax a little bit. And then he could tell. He's like, hey, because I can feel that heat.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's just
slow and steady.
By little.
Yeah.
There's just been, just more and more positive.
I think he has an incentive. Every time he talks to me, he says he's got an incentive.
He does have an incentive.
So,
did he tell you why?
I think he did.
Okay.
And I won't. You don't need to publicize it.
Well, if I haven't, he probably has.
Yeah. So it's up to you. But I know he's got an incentive, and he told us there that night. He said, "I'm gonna keep working." Because
did he tell you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, his incentive, because I'm sure I don't know.
I'll let you share it. It's your story.
Like on a second, like episode number 2. Like
yeah. We don't care. I mean,
no, my incentive to him was to help motivate him. Was he really? I mean, I guess we both like Corvettes,
mm-hmm.
and he for some reason likes the Stingray 80s or late 70s. I guess more not the 80s, but the 70s, late 70s Corvette, the Stingray. Yeah. And so I told him, I said, well, if you get to where you can walk and you don't need a wheelchair type of thing, or if you just need to use a walker, but you can get in and out of a car like that and toss your walker in, I said, I'll buy you a Corvette. That'll be your reward.
Yep.
So
Sounds like a pretty good incentive to me.
Oh, it's a good incentive. I mean, yes.
Oh, crap.
So he's getting closer. He definitely is. And even to get into...
Because he's up on parallel bars.
Oh, yeah, he's on parallel bars. And when he gets into my trucks, or depending on the truck that we're getting into, one's taller because it's a 1 ton. But in either truck that he gets into, he gets up to the corner of the door there, and he'll actually stand at the truck and then grab a hold of the hand, those handles and stuff.
Yep.
And then he can, he's got a lot of strength, so he can pull himself into the truck. And I'm there to help or assist a little bit, but I don't do a whole lot of lifting. It's mostly him. I just try to make sure I guide him and get him.
Yeah.
Just in case. And then that's, so he's
getting
coming.
close.
He's coming. So
I'm going to see a Corvette pull up pretty soon, I think. And
at 11 o'clock at night.
hey, I would love it.
Oh, I would too. I actually had a friend. I still have a friend. I have a lot of friends, and thankfully I have a lot of good friends. But one of them was going to go elk hunting probably a year ago. And he said, hey, he goes, this place that has this elk hunt, because of Joel's situation, they're like, there's this thing set up to where he could hunt for free, and it wouldn't cost him thousands of dollars to go on this hunt.
Yeah.
And but he's like, but if he doesn't, it was something that just come up, and it was like next week is this hunt, and we had like no preparation,
Sure.
and he would have had fun, I'm sure, and it would have been fun to have sent him. But it's like, I don't have any prep. Like, we're not ready for that just yet. And so too short a notice. But he said, but if next year, if he can walk, he's like, he won't get to go for free.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's fine.
It's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'll pay for it then if I have to.
Yeah.
Like if I'll take the walking over the free hunt. But,
Yes.
Anyway, it was just comical.
Yeah.
He had great intentions, but it was just comical how it's like, but I would rather have that.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
we'll have to make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yes, exactly. So
No.
But
no, you guys have really, your faith, I would say your faith has grown through the whole situation. Despite it being a tough situation, it was a faith situation, and you guys have just, I think you've been an encouragement to a lot of people, not just yourself. So,
well, thanks. Yeah.
Yep.
I think at the end of the day, you just kind of, you have an opportunity, I guess, to live out your faith, and know it doesn't always look perfect or go perfectly, because there are challenges and struggles, and you have valleys at times. But I guess. But at the end of the day, you have an eternal focus, and so you realize life is short. The older I get, the more my body aches. I realize, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, if the Lord allows me to live, and I'm middle age, that's a long time yet, but it goes really quick.
Yep.
And if He doesn't, I might be 3/4 of the way through, and I don't even know it.
Don't even know it.
And so life just becomes, I guess, the values and the importance of what is important in life, I guess, kind of becomes pretty evident pretty quick when something bad happens.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden your focus is, hey, I was growing this business, I was acquiring wealth, I was doing those things that you want to take care of your family, but then sometimes it's easy to take your focus off the Lord a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not that you're like despising Him, but you're, it kind of depicts, all right, is my true love really the Lord, or is it
in circumstances?
The circumstances are all the things He's allowed me to do or have.
Yep.
And so
it's changed our perspective.
It does.
I've seen that happen in my life a lot. There's a lot of times I'll never forget when I was younger, like I'm 18, zealous, I'm got the world by the horns, nothing can hurt you you're at 18, right? You've been there, and I kind of went through this scenario where, when I was young in the church, I'm like, why don't all these other people help out more? Like, why don't they do stuff? I'm here, I'm doing all this stuff. But you're making these judgments before you're married, before you have kids, before you have to work a lot, before you have to do all these things. And as you grow, you mature, and you start to say, that's why. They didn't have They didn't have those obligations. They didn't have that weight. They didn't have those kids. They didn't have these circumstances. And when circumstances change, it puts things into perspective that you thought you knew. I think you said it earlier that your kids, they didn't, they don't have the same understanding of the world that you do yet. And that only comes with time. But time is valuable. Time teaches us, and time actually helps us look back and say, what could I have done better? And how am I going to live the rest of my life?
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I've learned in my life. Sometimes it's taken a lot of time. And then sometimes I think, some of these things I've learned, they're valuable pieces of information. Like, I want to tell my kids those things. I want them to understand that at age 18 instead of at age 28. Right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so,
and some kids can grasp that
me a little bit. Yeah.
Some take, you want them to learn it by 18, but they won't learn it till they're 25, like the rest of us. I mean,
I had a thick skull. I still do.
I still kind of think
learn
that
things the hard way sometimes.
I liken it to, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'll be the first to tell you that, but I do work really, really hard. And so because I'm not the smartest guy, I have to work harder. But because I've worked harder, it's like in school. But this is the best way I can now. And I give this analogy to the kids. I said, okay, so if you get a 50% and 100%, your average is a 75%, right? You still got a C. But if you have 100%, and you put up a 0 for the day. In other words, you didn't complete your assignment because you was lazy. You put up a 0 and whammo, that takes your 100% all the way down to 50. So you did excellent, but you did crappy. And now all of a sudden you got a crappy grade. It's still a failing grade. If you do, so like my analogy is if you get up in the morning and you only do 50% of what you normally would have done because you're not feeling well or you don't want to go to work or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And then you have 100 another day, you're still successful. It's about never putting up a 0. Get up and do something. Maybe today's 25, then you got a 75 and a 100 and an 80 and a 60 and a 50. But if you don't put up those zeros, you're always moving forward.
Yeah. And I think, you're saying it well. I think persistence, I see that a lot. People that are persistent, whether they get it right every time or not, that persistence pays off.
Yep.
And the confidence to say, hey, I may not, whatever it is they're doing, but I may not put this together exactly perfect, but I'm persistent and I'm confident, and they want to do a good job for the customer. If we're talking customer, versus the person who doesn't do anything because they're fearful. And so they may do a better job than the person over here that's persistent.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Confident. But the confident, persistent person is the one that's getting it done, and the guy that's could maybe do it better, but it's fearful. That fear locks them up, and that's not a good thing. Trying to overcome fear, I think, is a key thing too.
Yep.
I guess if we're talking our kids and just how to encourage them to move forward in whatever it is, whatever area of life it is. It might be sharing the gospel with somebody.
Yep.
Or college or some other venture they want to go down, but
good.
Learn from experience and then try to help them not to make the same mistakes.
I think the best experience you can give them is exactly what you said, though, is don't be fearful. Right? I mean, in business, you can be fearful. They have a term for it, analysis paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
If you try to overanalyze something, you'll never move on it because, the key is to be moving, not to be thinking.
Correct.
If you can think a lot, and thinking is not bad, but it is something that's important. But it in a lot of cases, people let that thinking really paralyze them, and they never do anything because they're like, well, what if, or maybe I won't, or what happens if this happens? And shoot, as well as I do, if you do that in business, you'll never do anything. You can't worry about all the what ifs. You have to move in some way, shape, or form.
Correct. I'd agree. And not moving is maybe because they want it to be perfect. Maybe. Yep. I don't know. Maybe it's the fear of failure. But I heard this week or last week, something along the lines of, if this is keeping me from, by not being perfect, is keeping me from this. Like I have this expectation that I'm going to be perfect, or my job's going to be perfect, or the outcome is going to be perfect. And so I don't do it because it's not. But if I remember, there's nobody perfect. The only one that's perfect is Jesus, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we have this idea that we have to do it perfectly, and it can't be done perfectly because we're human.
Right.
Right? We're sinful humans, and we do the best we can. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, love it. I mean, that's nail on the head.
Yeah.
Nail on the head on that one. I mean, we're not going to be perfect, and we can strive for perfection, but it's not probably going to happen. Not in my experience. Maybe in your experience.
Yeah, I'm a perfect.
Yeah.
Husband, perfect father.
Goes back to one of those sayings where I thought I made a mistake, but I should have known better. Is that your take?
I would say.
Oh man, we're in trouble.
I mean, this is being recorded, so
yeah, but they can cut it.
I don't. Okay. Oh, good. So I was gonna say, should I be arrogant in here on the cameras? So I don't want to be arrogant. Yeah,
we made more good decisions than bad. I would say that's a fair assessment. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it takes. You got to win more than you fail. Are you going to fail? Absolutely. But are you making better decisions? 90%, or let's say, actually, I seen a book, or I read a book, and I can't remember what it was called. Actually, no, I haven't read it, but I've heard about it. It's about, I think it was asymmetrical bets, and I don't remember who the author was, but they was pretty much saying that if you was sitting at a let's say you was playing cards, and the opportunity for you to win was, let's say, 70%, or 65%, they would say you should take that gamble every time, because in the long run, you're going to win out more than you're going to lose. But most people, if they're like, 65%, I don't think so. I'm not taking that chance. But the people that are successful, they take that chance all day long.
Sure.
Because they're willing to say, 50% of the time I'm going to fail. Now, if it's the other way, now if it's 40% chance you're going to win, then that's a bad bet. But if you're going to win 65 to 70% of the time, they say that's a good bet.
Take it.
Yeah, take it, because it's
because 7 out of 10 times you win.
7 out of 10. The odds are there.
And if you can withstand the other 3 that you maybe fall on your face.
I think that's the hard part.
Yeah, just get back up and do it again.
Yeah, the hard part is people, if you fail once, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not built for this. Typically, that's not the case.
It's just like the cattle. I mean, you spend, and especially now, the cost of the cattle it's very expensive to buy cattle. And, but sometimes they die.
Yeah.
I mean, they just die, and you go there, and there's one laying, and he's bloated, and he's dead. I mean, there went a huge cost. I mean, you could view that as a failure, but you have too many of those, and it could easily maybe have somebody discouraged, toss in the towel, and just say it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But year over year, we don't have death loss that often, but it does happen. Sometimes it, you lose 2 or 3. It's just part of it. So
yeah.
But you just got to understand there's going to be some failures. There's going to be, I always think about Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Like he invented the lights, right?
Yeah, right.
Or the incandescent,
Yeah.
right? The filament and all that. But how many times did he fail? How many times did he give, he didn't give up. He just figured out multiple ways that don't work.
We would probably
and he figured out the one way that did.
This podcast wouldn't be near as good without Thomas Edison.
No.
Right?
No. Without, like
we didn't have no light.
No light. No,
oh my goodness. We'd be doing it in the dark. I actually could be sitting outside.
Well, maybe I have him to blame for my short attention span because of the phone.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, maybe.
That's a stretch.
It's a stretch. We made progress. Somebody probably would have figured it out if it wasn't old Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah,
but,
very, very true.
I don't think we have enough time on this podcast to talk about all of our stuff, but we could probably keep going, but we probably should wrap it up.
I don't even see a clock. You don't put one on my side.
No, it's we could keep going, but maybe we'll do a part 2.
Okay.
Part 2?
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
We'll sign you up. We'll put you
give me a heads up on give me a heads up on what you want to talk about.
No, it's more fun.
Give me more time to plan or prepare.
It's better to hear it off the cuff.
Yeah.
You get the authentic.
The authentic. Yeah.
Yes. You don't need no script. When's the last time you needed a script?
Probably not often.
See, there we go. So,
not often.
all right. Well, everybody, we we really appreciate Troy coming on. It's been a great time just to catch up. But yeah, we just want to appreciate all you guys, the audience, for tuning in, learning a little bit about Troy, some of who he is, one of our local business people here, had a lot of great advice. And so we thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of The Creative Niche. If this episode was good or you enjoyed it at all, please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what the highlights were of it. And until next time, we'll see you again. Thanks.
Thanks.